freeCodeCamp daily challenge for 15th of March 2026. Let's get into it. So this is capture chess pieces. So it says give an array of strings representing chess pieces you still have on board. Calculate the value of piece. So for chess players it will be more understandable, but in case if you're not a chess player, let me break it down for you. So a pawn has a value of 1, a rook has a value of 5, a knight has a value of 3, a bishop a value of 3, queen a value of 9, a king a value of 0. Now these are the values of each piece, but they have different amount at which is on the board. So there are 8 pawns for each side, 2 rooks, 2 knights, 2 bishops, 1 queen and 1 king. So for us to calculate the total value at which they are, we can go by saying 8 times 1 8, 5 times 2 10, because it applies twice, 3 times 2 6, plus another 6 making it 12, and 9 plus 2 times 1 9. Then the king can be negated, or we just add the 0. Knowing fully well that 10 plus 8 plus 12 plus 9 gives us a good value of, I think it should be 39. Now 39 is the total number. It's the maximum amount of value of total values on each side of the chessboard. Now let's continue. Given the array will contain only the abbreviations above, just like here. So when we're giving in the array, we're going to be telling it, I give it an array of the available pieces we have. So in this scenario, there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 pawns remaining on my side, 2 rooks remaining, 1 knight, 1 bishop, 1 queen and 1 king. So any of the 16 pieces not included in the given array have to be captured. Yes, it means that any of the 16 pieces not written here means that it's assumed that it has been captured. It says that we should return the total value of all captured pieces, meaning that we're going to get the total value of the non-captured pieces and minus and subtract it from the total number, which will be 39 minus non-captured. 39 minus non-captured. So in this scenario now, we have pawn 1 2, we have, let's count the number of pawns, 1 2 3 4 5 6. We have 6 pawns. And the rooks, for the rooks we have 2 rooks. Then we have a knight. I think the two rooks gives us 10. Sorry about that. 10. Then the knight gives us 3, and the bishop gives us 3, the queen gives us 9, and the king gives us 0. So let's see how many this is. 6 plus 3 is 16, plus another 3, that will be 19, plus another 3, that will be 22, plus another 9, that will be 31. So that's 31. Okay, so it's going to return the total value by the non-captured. So the non-captured value right now is 31. So we're going to be getting 39 minus 31 equals to 8. See, so it's expected that it should return 8, but there's a condition. If the king is not part of the given array, then instead of the array instead of the function gets captured to return the number, it's going to return the string. Checkmate. Let's get into it. With creating a function, says get piece value. I'm calling it just get piece value. It gives an argument because it's going to be accepting a string, so I just call it string. Now this string, so this is going to be full of conditional statements, because if the string is p, it will return the value of 1. If it's a rook, it will return the value of 5. If it's a knight, it will return the value of 9, so on and so forth. So we'll start with the if statement. As if the string is equals to p, it will return the value 1. Then else if. So add other statements to that condition with an else if. Say string if string is a rook, it should return the value of 5. Just to save more time, I'm going to duplicate the lines with 1 2 3 4. should return the value of 9, and the king, okay, the queen, there's a q there, and the king, the value of 0. The queen should return the value of 9, and the king the value of 0. Alright, so for the purpose of the syntax, let's make sure that our syntax is correct. Okay. Alright. So let's test this function. So we believe that when we see this function, whatever value it sees converts this function converts the piece value, the piece into its numerical value. So let's see. We go with testing it so we can see it in the console. We print it out. This console.log get piece value. In the string, let's try a p. As you can see, it was returned 1. Let's try a queen. It returned 9. So first of all, we have gotten the first step now. We have successfully been able to extract the value of the piece just by seeing the piece. So the next step now is to look through that array and check the value. When it checks it and gets the value, then it sums up the value. So we can go with creating a new function that says get numerical value. Get numerical value. Oh, that was not supposed to be inside. Get numerical value. And it's going to be setting an array, so we just give an argument of an array. Now, this array, first of all, is going to look through the array. So we're going to be using a for of loop. I prefer using it more than the traditional for loop, except in specific cases. So for of loop, we're going to say that the array has a bunch of elements. So we're going to go with let element of array. Okay. So it's looping through the array. When it's looping through the array, it's going to check the value. So instead of us writing the code to check the value, we can just impute the function inside here. So we can say return we can get the get piece value function. Get piece value element. In this way, it checks for each one. So let's run the function and see whether it's really okay. So I'm going to get the console.log to test the function to see whether it's really returning the value. So I'm going to paste in an array here. An array to say that I'm going to put 2 pounds here. Okay. Return the value of 1 for the pawn. If I change it to the queen, it returns the value of 9. So the function is working. Now, piece value be equal to the function, the result of the function. Then after we get the piece value, we want to sum up all those values together to get a total value of pieces that are on the board. So we're going to get a sum. Sum is going to be equal to 0. I'm going to say I'm going to use it for we are going to create an array. We're going to create an array that says an array of which we're going to push each and every value that has been converted. So we're going to call it the result array. So let's call let results. So result is going to be an empty array. Now we're going to push its value into the result array. So it's going to be result dot push. Okay. And let's see whether it actually gives us. Let's return results. So yes, it's working. So result dot push it a value. So it basically converts the array of pieces into an array of numbers. So this time around we're going to create a new variable called sum, and we're going to look through the results. We're going to look through the results array and call each element number of results. I'm going to add it all to sum. Okay, let's assign sum the value of 0. I'm going to add it all to sum, which is sum is equal to the new value of sum is equal to the initial value of sum plus number. But a shorter way of writing this code can be sum plus number. Alright, then we can tell it to return the sum, which is 10. Plus 9 plus 1 is 10. Then let's add, if we add a king, it's not going to give us anything because king is 0. So we add, let's say a bishop. Bishop is 3. That's 13. Alright, that's 13 over there. So the code is working. Now let's move on to the next part, with the next and final step, which is two things. First of all, we're going to check a condition. If the array we are giving it contains a king, it should subtract the sum and return the value. If it isn't, it should return checkmate. So we're going to go by this. To check if a value is contained in an array, we use the .includes method. So we use if pieces, because the input array is going to be called pieces. If pieces includes the king, then do this conditional access. So we're going to get the value of the pieces. So we're going to say get numerical value, because we're going to get the numerical value and assign it to something. So let's assign it to a variable called total value. Total value of every piece on the board is going to be the result of the function gets numerical value and the pieces inside the board, which is going to be the array. So I'm going to call it pieces, and we're going to assign another function, another array, create another variable and call it inverse value. Or let's call it absent value. Absent value will make more sense. Absent value will be equal to 39, because we know that the maximum value is 39 minus the total value. Minus the total value. And we'll tell you to return absent value. Okay, let's try it out. Console.log, we're going to print get captured value. Let's key in our array. I'm going to copy the array from one of the test subjects here. Put it here. Okay, so yes, our code is working, but it's not yet done. We have to create a condition for if there is no king. So else, if there is no king, if the pieces does not include a king, if the array is absent of a king, that's if this condition is false, then we should return checkmate. So let's try it out. Let's try it out. Let's remove the king and see how it goes. And voila, we got our challenge done and dusted. Yeah. Stay tuned for the next, guys.